Okay, here we go. Lot to get to on this Thursday. We almost had a great guest. We just could not work it out in time, but we'll definitely have him back. I believe we are. That is really interesting. We're going to try to. I'm not exactly sure why JR is not seeing it. Stand by. I mean, we're live. We are live. Yes. Yeah, there we go. There I am. Oh, good. Okay, let me check X. Yes. Yep. Let me check. Boom, boom, boom. I think we should be. Yes. And there we are. Okay. I believe the audio is fine. I'm going to hear it right now. I believe, and I think it is fine. And we should. Okay. I believe the audio. He's exactly right. It is. But wait, let me check YouTube. There it is. Yep. And I think we're good on YouTube as well. There it is. Yep. There we are. Yep. I think we're good on YouTube as well. And we are. This guy's making a lot of sense. You know, what I like about YouTube, as I mentioned, is you can then keep it on your screen while you do other things. X is like that as well. All right, we're going to wait for JR to give me the go-ahead, folks, on this Holy Thursday. Tomorrow is Good Friday. I think we're going to be live tomorrow, 11 to 12. 11 to 12 tomorrow. And then, but the weather is going to continue to warm up. And then it obviously will be very active over the Easter weekend, with the exception of Easter itself. There we go, folks, at 106. Good afternoon. This is The Real News. Now, right now, as we speak, we are live on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. Now, you can also listen online at the website dpetro.com. So when we are live from 1 to 2, right now it's 106 on this Holy Thursday, April 17th, night of the Last Supper. We're not only live on the radio, AM 1380, 99.9 FM. You can listen online at the website, dpetro.com. But we're also, right now, we are live on Facebook. We're live on our X account, which is formerly Twitter. And we're also live on our YouTube account. And you want to follow, because all the different platforms actually have different rules. There's things that I can post on X. X is actually the best because you can post anything. Facebook, very sensitive. TikTok, very sensitive, as a matter of fact. So now we have on the website, depetro.com, you can also get links to, we're very active on Instagram. The Instagram page continues to grow. And TikTok is, believe it or not, TikTok has become our top platform with, I think, 106,000 followers on TikTok alone. And then Facebook is now at 100,000. What are we at? I know the answer to this. Before I get totally off, where are we with IG? Insta is almost 55,000. Almost 55,000. And our YouTube channel is 57,000. 57,000. That's higher than I thought. Yes. We continue to get great growth with TikTok as our number one platform, Facebook 2, and then YouTube is our number 3 platform, and then Instagram 4, and then X, and then obviously, folks, the radio program, but wait, there's more, depetro.com, which you can Read, we still have the exclusive on the Pawtucket firefighters. You can read it. It's right there. I am aware that we're the only ones reporting it. It's not the first time that this stuff ever happens. For some of the newer people, I get that they're thrown, but I'm not going to talk about the Pawtucket firefighters too much, but I do want to frame what's going on for you. But let's stay on schedule here, folks. On this Holy Thursday, this portion of the program, again, check out depetro.com. But it's brought by PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. They are officially open for the season. Beautiful selection of pansies. They have pansy flats, pansy bags, hangers and bowls, assorted colors. They have all your Easter plants. Stop it and see them. Debbie, Steve, Junior, tulips, hyacinthus, daffodils, hydrangeas. It's PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, Rhode Island's #1 garden center. They're open. They have all your Easter plants. 3688 Quaker Lane in North Kingstown. And the service is the best. It is at PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, right off of Route 4. Folks, check out depetro.com, which has links to all of our social media pages. It also, that's the way to get a hold of me. I don't understand when people say, what's your email? We have the email posted on every platform. You know why I have my email, an email posted on every platform? Is because sometimes when I'm trying to track someone down, it's annoying when they don't post their email. So I can be, these people that say, I didn't know how to reach you, it's impossible. I'm one of the easiest people you can reach if you'd like to. But check out depetro.com, where we have links to all of our social media. We even have a contact page. You can contact me there. And it's brought to you by the Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue, West Warwick. You can still make an Easter reservation. They can accommodate your family at the Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue, West Warwick. So I do want to talk about the ice situation. We're also going to talk about the Maine situation. I'll start with the Pawtucket situation. I wasn't going to, but we'll be fluid about this. I am tempted to talk about the ice situation with what happened in New Bedford, but I want to just address this situation in Pawtucket. Now, we have the story. This is very dramatic what happened, and that is 8 firefighters are out. And the union put out a statement yesterday. I don't know the head of the union, obviously, but I don't know who this individual is. But I'll say that the city defends the firing of the Pawtucket firefighters. Union calls the action unjust. Now, I know the attorney, Vin Regusta. It doesn't matter whether or not some of the union people like him or not. He's a fantastic attorney. He knows the law. His father was a judge, Judge Regusta. Vin Regusta. He knows the law. He wouldn't have taken this action if he didn't feel they were on firm ground. So without getting too much into it, for the head of the firefighters union to say that Vin Regusta, he shouldn't have done that and he had no right to do that. And this is over. Eric Cordero. Oh, it's unjust. And, this is over old text message. Does anyone you really think 8 individuals are going to be terminated for text messages from several years ago? So Regusta absolutely lit into him. The sole evidence that was presented was in the form of text messages from 3 years ago. I don't know the union rep. I don't know why. This is like in the movie The Untouchables, when Sean Connery says, you show up to a gunfight with a knife. So Regusta refuted, saying nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, he knows the law. He knows the procedures. He spanked the union head. The city pushed back. Even the city pushed back on the firefighters union statement. Eric Cordero, demonstrating inexperience and ignorance of basic principles of labor law. Again, I've heard from some of the family members of the individuals involved. I told them, without knowing all of the details, I advised them to get a real attorney. I advise them to get a real attorney, get someone that really knows what they're doing. I'm not sure there's even a case there, but this is not accomplishing anything, because now you have both the city and Vinregusta absolutely destroying and mocking. I don't know why the union rep is saying things that are, I'm not convinced. I don't think the union rep should be saying anything. As a matter of fact, I just don't think I don't think he's on firm legal ground, put it that way. When asked why more details haven't been released, Regusta said the city must protect the integrity of the criminal investigation. I understand the thirst for information the public has. However, the city cannot cater to that at this point. At the appropriate point, more information will be forthcoming. Of the 8 firefighters involved, 4 chose to retire or resign, while the remaining 4 are pursuing arbitration, who were then fired. So the resignations are an indicator of the seriousness of the allegations. So whoever this Eric Cardero is with the union for the firefighters, 4 of the firefighters resigned. And why would they do that if this was all just a huge misunderstanding? I saw the statement that the union had put out. NBC 10 reached out to the union multiple times following the press release to request further comment, but they won't respond. When I saw what the union said, I found it very strange, simply because it was, you want to make sure, unless I don't know what the goal is, unless the goal is to just try to mislead a number of their members. But I did see the statement that someone had sent out to me, and it didn't seem like it was rooted in reality. But folks, I mean, for a city doesn't move quickly to terminate anyone, number one. Number two, it is virtually impossible, as our legal expert, Stephanie Murphy, said, it's very difficult to fire any first responder. So I don't have an answer on why the union head put out something. Okay, now we do have breaking news out of Florida, and I do want to follow this, but multiple hospitalizations reported shooting at a Florida State University. There was a report of an active shooter. I'm going to see if we can get the latest reporting on that. But just to finish out the Pawtucket situation, if you're the union rep, I'll just say this. If you're the union rep, you want to make sure in a situation like this that whatever you're putting out, whatever your statement you're putting out, you want to ensure, I should say, that it's solid, because it's obviously going to be scrutinized. I don't understand any of that. When you have the attorney, Vinregusta, and the city openly mocking what the union put out, do you understand there are 8 firefighters, 4 fired, 4 resigned? That's pretty striking. If they didn't do anything wrong, and if the city and Vinregusta don't know what they're doing, then why did the 4 of them resign? Again, I'm not saying I have the answers for this. I'm not saying I have the answers. If there's anyone wondering, log on to DePietro.com. We don't have a lot of reporting on it. I have the bare bones of it. I know people want more names and so forth. I don't feel at this point the need to do that. We're not going to get ahead of it. But it's the reason why they were terminated seems pretty black and white. So I don't know what the union is talking about, and why this has to do with text messages from 3 years ago. I would find it impossible that they would be able to terminate anyone from text messages from 3 years ago. So I don't know what that's all about. Let's stay on track here, because obviously I also want to check out the breaking news. Folks, this portion of the program brought to you by Propane Plus. Call them today, 401-885-4209. In Massachusetts, call Propane Plus, 252-3359. Propane Plus for all your heating and cooling. If you use propane, contact Propane Plus. They have a very user-friendly website online at propaneplus.com. Residential or commercial, it's Propane Plus. Just type in your zip code. Propane Plus, 401-885-4209. So the union did respond with the Pawtucket situation. The city and Augusta basically laughed at it, and that's where we sit. Now, I do want to, let's just get the latest, because obviously we have a breaking news situation here. Yes, that is exactly right, Katie. Let's get to the breaking news, which is, I just want to see what is an update with this. Okay, active shooter reported at Florida State University. Multiple hospitalizations reported after shooting at Florida State. Okay, so that is the headline. Students on FSU campus are exiting an area near the student union with their hands above their head. Well, you want to do that to a popular area that's all that's left, personal belongings. Well, that's because everyone exited. This was a while ago. They're ordering everyone on campus remain shelter in place. Now, that's all we know. You know, this is an interesting situation also because what we have here, it's a breaking news situation. We don't have all the details on exactly what's happening. Now, we run into this on Road Patrol Live. We run into this where people say, how do you go live when you don't even have all the information? Well, everybody, you know, you're alerting everyone that you have a breaking news situation. FBI and local police respond to the shooting. So that is the latest now. Now, this is FSU in Tallahassee. And so right now, you know, I can relate. Like whenever we're live, there's people, they say this to me, you don't go live until you have all of the details. Well, right now, Fox News Channel, FBI local police respond to FSU shooting. We don't know all the details. They don't know exactly what happened. They don't know the gunman. They don't know how many wounded. They don't know motive. And they're live. For those that want to follow the coverage of it. Let me just see if check one more. Because I do want to stay on schedule here with, let's see. All right, I don't know. Yeah, X is still the one to go to. Whether people like it or not, X is the go-to regarding this. It's just has the fastest info. FSU shooting. Multiple victims reported, 4 hospitalized, 1 in custody. Unclear if it's the shooter. Scene remains active. Okay. Let me just check one more thing and then we're going to... how about in Florida? The people are praising the Florida State Troopers. Multiple injured. 1 man has been detained. Multiple individuals are seen being loaded into an ambulance, apparent gunshot wounds. 1 man was handcuffed and taken from the scene by law enforcement. The area is under lockdown as the investigation continues. I think suspect in custody, active shooter. I also want to mention, folks, I think they have the person. Oh, no, that's a victim. Okay. Shooting victims across the campus. Oh, wow. Okay. All right, that looks like a female. Florida has much different gun laws than we do in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. So it looks like Tallahassee, Florida, active shooter. FSU campus, massive police and emergency crews on campus. The reason I mention that is around here, they always use, the anti-gun people will try to pass gun legislation on something like this. It's the gun laws in Florida, they're very different. People, if anything, if you're a homeowner, it's assumed you do have a weapon. So it's very, very different. But you watch, Governor McKee will probably put out a statement saying, Prius to Tallahassee. This is why, blah, 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 we're going to take action. And Governor McKee saying, we want to make sure, you have Matos. We want Rhode Island to be a gun-free zone, except for the criminals. They will use this to try to certainly exploit the tragedy. Now, right now, Roofco, Rhode Island, this portion of our program brought to you by Roofco, Rhode Island. Have you been thinking of getting a new roof? Call them today, request a free quote, 401-868-7149. 401-868-7149. Roofco, Rhode Island. They'd be happy to inspect your roof for wind damage, give you a free estimate. Maybe you've had wind damage. Maybe you have a leaky roof, missing lifted or curled shingles, granules in the gutter, damaged chimney flashing. Call Joe at Roofco, Rhode Island today. I share their Facebook page. They have a great social media presence. 401-868-7149. 401-868-7149. I share their Facebook page. It's Roofco, Rhode Island. Now, I think by now, most people have seen, and Channel 12 was really pushing this. Nothing against them, but let me just follow up on something. Okay. Channel 12 was really pushing the story regarding what happened in New Bedford and and the fact that the ICE agents had to break the window and pull that, apprehend the suspect. And the reason I say Channel 12 is they were one of the first ones that had the attorney that apparently they were calling and saying that, how frightened they were and blah, blah, blah. And I just want to see if I can pull it up because they didn't do anything wrong. And I want to make a point here. I thought they had. Yeah, I think here it is. I think you've seen it by now.
It made me tremble.
That's the attorney.
And I wasn't even in the car. I can only imagine what my clients must have been feeling to have experienced that. They are the ones that took the video. So they were living that firsthand.
Okay, now, here it is.
It made me tremble. And I wasn't even in the car. I can only imagine what my clients must have been feeling.
Okay, now let's talk about this, folks. What are they supposed to do? They boxed in the vehicle. The people locked the doors and they won't come out. Now, let's think about this logically just for a moment. What if every motorist did this? How about a scenario where every time someone's pulled over, they refuse to speak to the police, you refuse to roll down your window, you won't get out of your vehicle? What if every motorist now starts saying, I'm on the phone with my attorney. And so I'm waiting for my attorney. Listen, that's what the courts are for. So ICE wanted that individual. They've also been disingenuous. Don't tell me that he has legal standing to be here. And I'm so glad ICE defended the agents who smashed the car window during the arrest. Now, they box the vehicle in. The guy won't come out. What do they think is going to happen? Many times, as I've talked about, when we're out on an armed standoff, many times the people who are inside the house, they think, okay, I'm not going to say anything. We won't come out. We've been there live, right? When it's come out, this is the Cranston police. Your house is surrounded. Come out of the house. They think if we're really quiet, maybe they'll just go away. Guess what? They're not going to go away. So ICE is defending the agents after they smashed the car window while detaining a man in New Bedford. He's being held at a detention facility in New Hampshire following his arrest by ICE Boston on Monday. Juan, no relation to me, Francisco Mendez. ICE cell phone video obtained by Channel 12 shows an ICE agent using a large tool to shatter the backseat window of the car belonging to Mendez and his wife. The wife had to talk to Channel 12 through a translator as they awaited for their attorney to arrive. It doesn't work that way. As they awaited their, oh, should we just wait for your attorney to arrive? I was afraid. I didn't even know what to do. They did grab me and they pulled me out, the wife told through a Spanish interpreter. She said they were asked to lower the window, but they didn't expect officers to break it when they didn't comply. Well, guess what? You're now in the United States, so expect it. We didn't expect them to break the window. That's not our problem, by the way. Matos, Lieutenant Governor Matos, ICE is not welcome in Rhode Island. Hey, you don't get to determine that, Lieutenant Governor Matos. But they did say that if you're not coming out the right way, then you're going to come out. ICE is claiming he entered the United States illegally or without inspection. ICE described him as an illegally present Guatemalan alien, and that is exactly what he is. According to ICE, he refused to comply with officers' instructions and resisted apprehension during arrest. What do they think is going to happen? Folks, what does it say to me? And I'll just be very clear about this. I'm cheering them on every swing as they're smashing the glass. I am rooting them on like a member of the Patriots that has found a hole in the defense and is sprinting down the field. ICE concurs with the actions deemed appropriate by the officers on the scene, who are trained to use the minimum amount of force necessary to resolve the situation. Oh, the attorney feels they're detaining the wrong person. They all say that. They all deny. Oh, no, that's not me. Oh, no, I don't speak English. No, that's not me. He and the wife are lawfully in the United States. That's a lie. He's not lawfully in the United States. So the wife was granted asylum, fleeing persecution in her home country. They're not fleeing persecution. They came in under Biden. And guess what? It's time to leave. And the protection was extended to her husband through the marriage. He's not supposed to be here either. Listen, honey, you're not supposed to be here. Conversely, then he's not supposed to be here. We've done it. We have everything legal. We're going through everything the right way. Wrong. You don't sneak into Fenway Park and then wander over to the ticket office seeing if you can purchase a ticket. Doesn't work that way. You don't become a stowaway on an airplane or a ship like Jack in Titanic and then inquire as to what exactly does it cost to travel on this after you snuck on. I like how about they gave the mayor, the police received a misleading heads up. They gave them the wrong street. Yeah, by design. By design. You know why? Because they were going to tip them off. I, for one, admittedly, and I also want to be very clear about this, because I see comments that people make on social media on my platforms, and I want to be clear with all of you. You're not a racist if you want the border enforced. I see that put. Oh, these people are just racist. That's ludicrous. Wanting a secure border does not make you a racist. And by the way, people that are in the inner city, people that are black and brown, Hispanic, just because they throw around the term racist, it doesn't make someone a racist. So if you are in favor of secure borders, and if you watched the mother at the White House yesterday, what's wrong with secure borders? See, in Rhode Island, you have McKee and Matos, and I'm going to talk about McKee, how Rhode Island, we're with Maine on transgender. Where does this come from? Notice local media does not push Governor McKee on this. But I want to stay with the ICE thing for just a moment because it's important. Folks, just a reminder, this portion of the program is brought to you by ServPro of Providence. Now, disaster can strike. Again, what do you do? Whether you have fire or water damage, sometimes you have a flood or mold. ServPro of Providence Remember, they're fast, thorough, professional. They operate 24/7. Call them 941-5500. Serve Pro of Providence. Restoration, reliability, results. Call them today. When disaster strikes, if you have a fire in your building, or you have mold, or maybe you have a flood, Serve Pro of Providence, 401-941-5500. Now, this business about ICE, they lie. They absolutely lie. It's what's very apparent right now. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. I won't. Okay. Wow. That is amazing. I may have an update on the Pawtucket stories, on the Pawtucket firefighters. That's very interesting. I heard one. I didn't know that. Huh. Wow. Okay. Boy, that gets a little more interesting. I'm going to check back with the people I've been talking to, because that's even worse than what I was told. Wow. Huh. So that maybe that's where then the text message comes in. But all right. Well, I'm going to wait till if that is true, that becomes a national story. 8 Pawtucket firefighters getting fired regarding cannabis is one thing, but the information that I just got that I'm going to follow up on, yes, okay. Hold on one moment, everybody. Yes. That is remarkable how he got caught. All right. Okay, I'll find out. That's very interesting. We're going to hold off. Let me just stay with the ICE theme. Folks, by the way, right now, Rhode Island operates the same as Massachusetts. What you're seeing in New Bedford, this, and I've put it out there. There's a hotline if you see ICE. Do you know in the Providence budget, Mayor of Providence is raising taxes, and they're keeping money for Dorcas to staff a hotline to support people being questioned or if they have concerns about ICE. But this becomes the residents of Providence don't seem to mind their taxes are going to be raised. And it's right in, I'll cite the source on it. But I want to stay on schedule here because sometimes I fall a little bit behind schedule, and we're not going to do that this time. So I received, I should say, an email from Frank. Frank needs to get his driveway paved, and he is a veteran. And he heard me talk about a company that has a special package for veterans. Frank, you want to contact J. Perry Paving, letter J, J. Perry Paving. They have a special package for veterans. Call them 401-732-1730, whether it's your driveway or parking lot. Letter J, J. Perry Paving. Give them a call, and they have a special package for veterans. 401-732-1730. You can find them, look for them, and find them on Facebook. The thing about ICE is we are really no different. Rhode Island and Mass have very similar policies. I'll admit that Rhode Island is under a little more low-key profile right now because the Trump administration is certainly going after them hard. But I did see in the Boston Globe story by Steph Machado, we spoke with Dan McGowan earlier, and I just want to find that part about some of the things that they're keeping in the budget. And let's see, blah, 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 raising that. I know I saw it. Here it is. Increased spending a total of $55,000 for Dorcas International to run an illegal immigration helpline for Providence residents. So, how about that? I mean, is that? Let me just put this out. I should have put it out earlier, but folks, I get so inundated with things. I want to just make sure. I like that, for Providence residents. Then they're actually they're obviously illegals, is what they are. So now the people of Providence may say, we have no problem with that. We're glad to give Dorcas International $55,000 to staff this hotline, but who is it helping? See, that's the type of actions that you do in a sanctuary city. I believe that as the Trump administration, because they're bringing the hammer down. They're bringing the hammer down on Massachusetts and Boston. I mean, they really are. They're going after Harvard. They're going after Mayor Wu. That video from New Bedford, you can tell the governor of Massachusetts, Maura Healey, is outraged about it. I'm glad that I said, what do you expect us to do? He wouldn't come out of the vehicle. The woman in it said, well, we just thought they'd leave. We didn't think they'd do that. Guess whose problem that isn't? That's not our problem. Well, you could unlock the door and come out of the vehicle. You don't do that. You don't do that to them. What part of open the door? You're not supposed to be here, A. And B, they told you to come out of the vehicle. I love that they did that, because it was one way or the other. It's like these people with the armed standoffs. Maybe if we just hide in here and don't answer, the police will leave. They're not leaving. Judge denies bond to that Tufts PhD student detained by ICE in Somerville. Good. I'm glad about that. The federal immigration judge denied bond to whatever they pronounce her name, the Tufts graduate student, taken into custody by immigration enforcement last month in Somerville, whisked off to a detention facility in Louisiana. During the immigration hearing in Louisiana, closed to the press, they contended she's a flight risk and a danger to the community. No, wrong. Just like the terrorists that wanted to come back to Rhode Island. Oh, I'm a doctor in Rhode Island. Yeah, you just flew back to Lebanon to attend the funeral of the leader of Hezbollah that Israel killed in an aerial strike. Oh, I don't follow his politics. I'm just a religious follower. Yeah, guess what? That's more dangerous. That's more dangerous. This is the one. Arrested walking on a sidewalk. Masked federal immigration agents, March 25th. Been held ever since. Yeah. You know what? She's the one running anti-Semitic in the Tufts student newspaper and writing anti-Semitic op-eds. Let me just be very clear, folks. And this is where I may be different at 142 than some other members of the media. If you come here, if you arrive in our country on a student visa, and you allow, that's a privilege we're extending to you, and you decide you want to talk about and publish and write, and you want to talk about that you want the genocide of the Jews, and, hey, guess what? All bets are off. You have misbehaved. You go to Fenway Park. You start drinking, harassing people. You get tossed out. You're a guest at Fenway or Gillette Stadium for that matter. The person, oh no, I have my ticket. I paid. Right, you're a guest in the facility. Even if you're a season ticket holder, that's technically not yours. You know, I don't know if they're going to start to relax things a little bit, but you know, years ago, during the Brady years, that's when they cleaned up Gillette, cleaned up Foxborough Stadium, cleaned up Schaefer Stadium, and people that were season ticket holders. Not only if you misbehaved, if you gave your season tickets and allowed someone to use the seats, and they caused a problem, you get your season tickets revoked. So just be clear about this. You're here on the condition you're going to behave yourself, not publishing articles calling for the genocide of the Jews. We're not going to tolerate it. That is, and what's so alarming is the people that are so upset and triggered. And if someone says they support President Trump or they wear a Trump hat, there are people that say that is hate speech. You have a hate speech hat by wearing that. What's so twisted is this is the same crowd that feels it's totally normal for Arabs to be coming in here and saying, yeah, we're in favor of genocide for all the Jews. Listen, it makes no sense because it doesn't make any sense. I'm so glad. Good, keep her locked up. Just like that degenerate at Columbia and the other one. Yeah, taking over the campus, having all these Arabs come in, taking over buildings. Hey, screw. Guess what? Go back to Gaza. Guess who's not welcome here? Now, I'm going to talk about Governor McKee in Maine in just a moment. But I want to, as I say, stay on schedule. Folks, this portion of the program is brought to you by Hill Skeffington Funeral Home. Now, when the inevitable happens, whether it is for yourself, plan ahead, or plan a service, Hill Skeffington Funeral Home in Cremations, and they're redoing their property on Main Street in East Greenwich. I like that. Plan ahead or plan a service. We'll take the first step with you. Hill Skeffington Funeral Home. Call them 401-884-9222. Funeral home in cremation. They handle it all. Hill Skeffington Funeral Home in Cremation. 401-884-9222. Now, regarding Governor McKee in Maine, and the reason why this is significant is Pam Bondi is going to go after the state of Maine. And I'll admit, you don't hear anyone essentially in our local press really talking about it. But right now, the Trump administration is suing Maine over the participation of transgender athletes in girls' sports. So I applaud Attorney General Pam Bondi and had the press conference and said, we're going to sue Maine. You're not complying, banning transgender athletes in girls and women's sports, and they're not abiding by the federal law. Now, Rhode Island, Governor McKee, we stand with the governor of Maine. Rhode Island has the same policy as Maine. Now, it doesn't get as much exposure. Where McKee is kind of fortunate is in a Democrat primary, that won't be an issue because Helena Foulkes, who supposedly is going to run against him, even though she is radio silence on the campaign other than raising money, but you just don't hear people poke him on that. And I already know what his talking point is. He tries to say, oh, we leave that up to the Interscholastic League. And here's what Governor McGreed, here's what the spineless governor. What he says is, we leave it up to the Interscholastic League to just ensure safety for all students. Well, what they're saying is Rhode Island has the same policy and allows transgender athletes to compete. However, what's missing, other than Governor McKee, Rhode Island stands with Maine. What's missing is the governor of Maine is certainly, more outspoken about it. So, and then had that when all the governors were at the White House and you had President Trump saying, is Maine here? And had a field day with it. And I don't blame him. But I think this is one of those issues that it resonates. This is one of those issues that people can understand. And I agree with people. To me, it makes no sense. And I've talked about this. The same crowd that would cheer on Rhode Island Governor Gina Raimondo for her only girls Governor of the Day contest. Write an essay on why you should be Governor of the Day. Other states do it. Other states allow both little boys and little girls to do it, whatever the age is. I think it's 5th grade, maybe somewhere in there. With Ramundi, it was no, girls only. And what I just don't understand is people like Gina Raimondo and Governor McKee and all these crazy union people, Mary Beth Calabro of the teachers union. If he identifies as a girl, then he competes as a girl. Why is that the position of the teachers union? Calabro with the teachers union. You have someone who was a junior at Mount Pleasant and on the boys track team, and then suddenly grows the hair out, puts it in a ponytail, changes the name. And Calabro, if he now wants to compete with the girls, then they get to compete with the. No, it shouldn't work that way. See, that's where the teachers union, and Calabro is one of the leaders of it, they're just delusional. They push the most extreme progressive agenda. It's also frightening, folks, though, the power that they have. Because if anything, someone like a Calabro, Cackle's friend, they have been totally exposed that they don't care at all about the children in those schools. All they care about is the adults grabbing the money. It's just an expensive daycare system. And so the more extreme, the better. You have a teacher who faces accusations of grooming and the first thing they do is Calabro and the teachers union. They circle the wagons. Nope, you're not going to fire this person. Even though he has an earring, even though he was corresponding with this young girl, nope, you're not going to fire one of our teachers because they're a union member. It's perverted. It is. They are. They allow it. Much like as we've learned in North Kingstown, as they're asking some of the other teachers, well, why didn't you say anything? Can you imagine the teacher? I walked by the classroom. He had a boy that had his shirt off and he was taking his pants off, and they shut the door. Well, why didn't you say anything? Oh, it's against the union rules. See, that's Mary Beth Calabro, right? The union head. It is none of your business what a male teacher is doing behind closed doors, whether it's a male or female student. It's none of your business, and it's against union rules for you to ask about it. What do you call that? I call that an enabler. She's enabling that type of behavior. And I think you could also argue that that encourages that behavior because you can get away with it, right? Calabro, we have your back. No union member will ask a question if someone is undressed, naked in a closet with a teacher. It's against union rules for you to ask them about that. Do you understand there's something wrong? This is why people are homeschooling. This is why Catholic school enrollment is up. This is why private school enrollment is up. This is why the public schools have just been a colossal failure and should be disbanded, because you have them run ultimately by people that they really defend this type of deviant behavior, because that's what it is. It's deviant behavior. Folks, this portion of the program brought to you by Arch Design Builders. I'm so glad to hear that many people had a chance to speak with Ed and Roxanne at the Rhode Island Home Show last weekend with Arch Design Builders. Call them today, 401-207-4124. Let me ask you on this Holy Thursday, maybe you've been thinking, have you, of a new kitchen or a new bathroom or a new basement or a new deck or a special project? Arch Design Builders. Call them today and you're going to learn the Arch difference. So whatever the project is, they have long-time clients. They have people that bring them in for one project, and then they move them to another project, and then they move them on to another project. They had a client, they've been working on different projects for them for over 3 years. That's someone that's very happy with the results. Arch Design Builders, and they're wonderful people. Call Ed and Roxanne, 401-218-9707. They have very good social media presence. I'm very impressed with they are on my radar, and I want them to be on your radar. Very impressed with the work that they do. Arch Design Builders, and I highly, highly recommend them if you're considering any type of remodel or anything like that. Now, folks, again, I think I'm going to work more this afternoon on this Pawtucket story because new information about the Pawtucket firefighters, now the information I'm getting, now it becomes a national story. Now it becomes, now it maybe even becomes an international story, but it definitely becomes a national story. So the fact that the Attorney General is looking into this as a criminal investigation, the fact that the city and Vin Regusta came out so strongly about it, the text messages now it does make sense. Form of communication. Now it all comes into play. And I want to remind people that's 8. I think it would have to be very extraordinary, 8 people. And this, to my knowledge, this has nothing to do with overtime or anything like that. You're talking criminal behavior, criminal behavior. So I'm going to work on that. I think I know exactly who I have to talk to, but I knew the Pawtucket story was kind of big. With new information, now it really potentially becomes big. All right, I want to check on the Florida situation before our time is up. The last we heard was there was an active shooter, um, on the campus. So let me just see exactly what the latest is. Holy cow. All right, I didn't know that. 5 dead, 4 injured. Wow, I didn't know it was that severe. Wow. 5 dead, 4 injured? Do they have anything on the gunman? Oh boy, I think they said they had someone in custody. President Trump has been briefed on it. Clear rooms. Oh, okay. I didn't know. I didn't know it was that bad. Wow. Who did this? What was the motive? Wow. 156. 5 dead, 4 injured. Reports stating 2 shooters, one in custody, the other dead. I'm looking at what seems to be a photo, or a video, I should say, of one of the shooters. New video appears to show a shooter with a pistol. All right, I see a lot of chaos as I'm looking at that. I think that's the person. Wow, that's terrible news. All right, well, it sounds like there's going to be a briefing. This is ABC News.
State University in Tallahassee. The latest is that there is a suspect in custody, we are hearing. There are also multiple injuries from a school shooting at the...
Wow, that is really horrible. 4 innocent victims. Well, is it a video of a guy walk past this woman who's gone viral? 5 dead, 6 injured, 1 critical. 1 shooter dead, 1 in custody. All right, I'm sure there'll be more at the top of the hour. Much more top of the hour. Wow, that is really, really terrible. This portion of the program, brought to you by Quality Asphalt Seal Coating. Call Corey today, request a free quote, 401-283-0000. 9815. He can resurface your sport court, pickleball court, tennis court, basketball court. Quality asphalt seal coating, 401 283 9815. They can also epoxy garages and patios, decorative concrete flooring. They seal coat driveways, parking lots. They'll make your pavement look like new. Look for them. They have great social media presence. Quality asphalt seal coating, 401 283 9815. 401 283 9815. God bless me. Quality asphalt seal coating. Call them. If you're listening right now and you would like to get your sport court resurfaced, they can make your pavement look like new. Pickleball, tennis, basketball, epoxy garages, decorative concrete flooring, patios. Call Quality Asphalt Seal Coating. Call Corey, 401 283 9815. Well, folks, again, repeating right now at 1:59, breaking news. Now it's been reported 5 dead, 4 injured with a school shooting at Florida State University in Tallahassee. If you're listening to the radio, they'll have more coming up at 2 o'clock, but we've had a horrible tragedy on the campus of Florida State. Everyone else, we will be later. We will be live on with Road Patrol Live, and pray for FSU.